Hi, everybody. We are here for the April 2025 energy update. And March has been very, I'll just say active in the sense that what I brought through for March, actually kind of both of those videos, has continued to evolve. Now, I don't usually have this happen where I do an energy update and then they continue to give me more information about that month, but that's what's happening in March. And the reason I want to talk about March first is because it's a precursor to what we have going on here in April and May. Now remember, I read energy and help you understand what will be occurring energetically and the potential of what it will manifest. Although remember, the energy is always first, and then the manifestation occurs down the road, or what we actually see on the ground, right? So we're just going to get right into this. I'm not even going to introduce myself. You can see who I am below if you don't know, and then we'll talk about that at the end. But the point in this is I continue to get information about March. Now, I will tell you, for those of you for frame of reference, this is March 27th that I'm filming on. I'm hoping to get this out, obviously, in the next couple of days. But we're in the middle of great activity cosmically. And as we know, Saturday, I believe it is the partial solar eclipse. And we've been in between eclipses, and we've had the spring equinox, and there's just so much going on. I would imagine every single one of you, if I was to ask, hey, how are things going personally? You got something big going on. Either that you're dealing with personally to rectify, or with others, or that, and as they just said to me this week, the spotlight has shone on. Okay, so remember March. When we did the energy update in the end of February, they gave me a wall calendar, you know, those like January, February, March, April, and they always show it like this. It's really interesting. It's not facing me. It's always like this. Anyway, probably something to do with time. I have no idea. What they showed, as you might recall, is this big sun, huge sun on March, just like stamped on. And then they've continued to give information regarding that. Different metaphors, different ways of looking at what that might mean. But it's all lines up kind of the same. But what they brought me this week was, excuse me, I'm still getting over this thing, which has been interesting. Anyway, what they brought me this week was, what were the words? Okay, I didn't write the words down, but it was basically, the word they used was spotlight. Spotlight, oh, this was it. Spotlight shone on. So the big circular sun on March also is a spotlight shone on. And oh my gosh, spotlight shone on is the things that we may have covered up for so long that all of a sudden you got to recognize and come to terms with. I am betting you, and feel free to share, by the way, because it's always wonderful to be able to see patterns across the collective, and you are obviously part of that with the little group that I've got here going on YouTube. So it's always fun to share, and I love hearing from you, and I know others do as well. But I believe, too, many of us are having the spotlight shown on, okay? The sun, this huge energy, right? Something big coming up that you're having to deal with. A lot of it is relationships, okay? A lot of it. And understanding who we are, how we come across, where our areas of work are within that relationship, okay? Because remember, relationship shows up for us, whether that's work, whether that's personal, family, romantic, but relationship shows up to shine the spotlight on things that we need to take a look at that we may not have looked at previously. It may be things that we've covered up for so long because of our own personal style. You know, are we passive aggressive? Are we avoidant? Are we attention seeking? Are we all of that? Okay. So what starts to happen is that spotlight gets shown on those areas to go, oh, and then the kicker of it is are we going to recognize that in ourselves, how we contribute to that particular relationship? Again, whether it's work, family, whatever it is. Because remember, we're all shifting and changing. And when we have that vibration in us of shift and change, that shifts and changes our relationships. So the nuances of that are critical in March, okay? The spotlight being shown on, all right? Now, that could be the relationship to yourself as well. Now, we can argue, oh, well, this is the whole spiritual awakening journey. Yes, absolutely yes. However, this month is like a kick in the pants. The kick in the pants is what I will say, all right? And we're kind of continuing to move forward, slog through. And what I will say is kind of moving away from that, and we're going to talk about April, that's leading us into this time of April. All right, that's leading us into this time of April. So something I'm going to mention to you, we're kind of talking March, April, right? Because I really want you to understand March. But information that I received this past week, and it was actually in a client session, but it was a collective piece, so I'm going to share it with you here too, was that, and this was it was so vivid and so fascinating, and this takes us into kind of April, is the collective of us who are we'll just call it first wavers, frontliners, whatever you want to call it, kind of the group that's been first, not that that makes us better at all, but it's a slog, right? So remember the metaphor that they've given us all over and over again, or the metaphors, I should say, of chopping down the forest to, making that initial pathway so everybody else can follow. Being on that first wave, coming into the shore, cleaning out the shore so the others can come along. Whatever metaphor you want to use of what we call the first wavers, or those of us who are, like I said, paving the pathway, right? Because what we do, energetically speaking, we've had dozens of metaphors around all of this, pulling the heavy load, right? Climbing up to the summit of the mountain kind of thing. But what they said to me this last week, they just said the word reinforcements. Okay, so they want to talk about this. Is that there is a shift and change that's happening within the lightworker community. Not that we know it or see it. Maybe we feel it. But a lot of us, and again, I don't know how this actually shows up for you each individually. It may just be a knowing. It may not be. It kind of depends on where you feel you're at in the journey. But there are a lot of us that are needing a reprieve. That doesn't mean that things stop happening, but it's a sense of more solidity in this process, I believe. I don't know how this is going to show up, but what they've shown me is that the frontliners need a reprieve. There is a new wave coming in, okay? And the visual metaphor they gave me was, this was really powerful, was like geese. You know how geese fly and they're in beautiful alignment, right, when they fly, but there's a leader. And then that leader gets tired and drops back and kind of helps assist from behind, right? So it doesn't mean we go away, but we get the new geese get to show up, or the younger ones, whatever you want to call it, are showing up now to lead the way. However, remember, it's a learned process too. So what I get is big breath. Again, this isn't going to happen all at once, and we don't even know, we can't identify who the first wavers are, but we know it's out there, right? But this dissolving of kind of moving to the back. We're still here. We're still doing our work, but there is a sense of a reprieve of not having to, I don't want to say take full responsibility, but remember, this is energetic, okay? A sense of a new wave coming in. This is part of March, okay? This new energy coming in. And I also get it boiling down to more people awakening, being able to say, hey, I'll step in. Not literally, but energetically. Their soul, I'll step in, all right? And really starting to kind of take over. That does not mean that we're not still doing this journey. It's not like, okay, I'm going to shut my computer off, I'm never doing another video again, and sending a poem out, and I'm going to quit my job. Quit my business. No, that's not it. It's a sense and an energy that we have. And there will be, I just got the word explosion, of the population of light workers. Now, remember, this may not be tomorrow, may not be April, but but there is this feel of spring for me. There's this feel. So let's get to this understanding of how March affects April. So what they've shown me is, and this is sometimes hard to explain, as I've said before, what this looks like for me. So we have March, but March is activating, and remember when I say March, I'm talking about our cosmic events. March is activating into April, and what they're showing is this, it's like a pillow. It's a poofy, as we go into April, this poofy pillow of, I just heard the word buoyancy. Oh, that makes sense. And March is the same way. May. But April is this buoyancy. Okay. And this is also why they've given me the words, and I was going to share this with you, lift off. All right. So we have a buoyant feel in April. Well, which that's good because that means we're not drowning, I guess, right? Lift off. Okay, let's just see what we can get here. Because I am getting this sense of this energy being able, okay, they just said spillover. Okay. Oh, March spillover. Okay, so the spillover, okay, leaking into to April, which activates us into a, okay, they're talking about greater opportunity. We're going to be more buoyant. It feels a bit like we are going to be lifted up. Okay, this is what they're saying. Lifted up. So this is why they said lift off. Lifted up. Lifted up. Okay. It's a little bit like, and they're showing this too. I keep giving you lots of metaphors, but I'm trying to unravel this too and how they actually communicate with me. We are lifted up and all this goes under us. It's like a bullet train coming through kind of idea, and we're like, jump, and it goes past. This is the energy of April, is what I keep getting, and what was started in March, all right? And now all the cosmic light will show and shine upon, is what I just heard, us in April. I just got huge chills. It's going to activate a lot of people. It's going to activate a lot of people. Oh, they just said breaking down the conditioning. Okay, breaking down the conditioning. I have so many chills. So it's a little bit like having to, a couple things going on. They're showing me as visuals. They're giving a lot of visuals today of looking in the mirror, breaking down the conditioning, looking in the mirror. Also the conditioning of the larger populace, okay, and the collective, the conditioning of systems. So the breaking down of the conditioning is still coming. But there's this upliftment idea of us jumping up, and whatever is coming, the bullet train goes underneath and doesn't hit us. I don't know what that exactly looks like, but there is this sense of being able to be buoyant, being able to lift ourselves up, being able to, I just heard, start reaping the rewards, of the work you've done. Now remember, this isn't all everybody at the same time. It's a energy of fluidity that flows in and then kind of, they just said inundates. But remember, it's also a gentle flow, but at the same time, we're getting a beat down. This is an interesting month, is what I'm just going to say. It's going to look a little different for everybody in the sense of how this energy is accepted by us. For example, we'll just use this as an example. Let's just say you've avoided dealing with something that's in your face and you know it, right? It's in your face and you know it. That's going to come to a head. Now, that can happen throughout the course of our journey, but what I'm talking about is more collectively speaking, we're going to see it happen more. So what happens is this undulating wave, and they're showing this, as people start dealing with their own individual avoidance issues, that has a ripple effect, right? So let's say instead of one person dealing with their avoidance issues, whatever that means for them, 1,000 do. I mean, think about the energy around that. So just as an example, it feels like a lot of us too, we're going to come to closure in some of the things that are going to be, that we've been dealing with. Closure will move you on to your next stage, your next phase. That could look different for everyone again. And it's not like you have to go out and figure out what is this part. You're going to know. You're going to know and feel the momentum. It also feels like kind of out of left field, we're going to have things brought to us that we might not have expected in our own journey. Brought to us that we might not have expected. The other thing that's very prevalent, very, very, very prevalent, is during this time, March, April, May, as we move forward, it's really important that you start to understand your own knowing and your own being and your own answers and your own intuition, rather than this idea of, oh, this is what's going to happen. This, adding fear, adding all of this, adding, and a lot of us, even though we're going through the awakening journey, we're not aware that we're still falling into some of that and regurgitating out what the talking heads are saying and putting fear in us, okay? Whether it be, preparation for whatever. But this is about going inward into you and having that gentle calm within the larger knowing of what's happening in the collective. Rather than, I don't know, I guess you could argue I'm a talking head, but hopefully I'm presenting just things for you to consider, but the information that I receive, rather than saying, this is what it is, right? And how you're going to deal with it. But the point in this is we need to be coming into our own knowing, coming into our own trust and faith of what we feel, what we understand to be our truth and journey. And what we do is we start closing out the outside world in the sense of who's telling us on social media, who's telling us, and I'm not saying don't do social media, I'm saying be aware of the messaging that's pulling you back into going, oh, I need to do that. Oh, I should do this. Oh, I should fear this. Oh, and it's very insidious. So the thing we want to focus on is trust in ourselves, trust in our own team, trust in our inner guidance, that we know what's right for ourselves individually. That doesn't mean you don't go get information, right? That you don't seek help and assistance. But what you do is whatever is presented to you, you then determine what suits you within that, right? You're your own truth seeker, okay? So this is going to be a lot of where we're headed with respect to how to work with the incoming energies. And what I very much do get is this fear, worry, concern, all the breakdown we see. It's going to get more excessive within the coming days, I just heard. I don't know what that means. But what they're talking about is being the observer to it. Now, we can all sit there and go, yeah, I do that, right? But then do you go back and go, oh God, I need to I'm making this up, but I need to make a prep plan for, my food sources or whatever. There's 10 million things. Or is there that gnawing gut fear starting to come up? Because guess what? I listen to them and I'm like, oh, maybe I do need to do this because everybody's doing this. You need to recenter if that starts to happen. Recenter. And be very self-aware. Where you're regurgitating out, they said this, that, they said that, they said this, they're all doing this, blah, blah, blah. Because there's a huge group of people who are awakening that are doing that are actually creating more fear. Now, you can say, okay, it's because of they want more likes or they want more, and there is that out there, right? But what we want to do is have a stabilized approach to everything that's going on. So April's going to present a lot of opportunity. Here's what I see. The opportunity is for you to understand that self-awareness, to understand what you're getting triggered by, or I'll just say insidiously connected into on a regular basis. It's going to present us with being able to go inside, and doesn't mean isolating, not at all. That's very different. It's knowing and the strength that you have, knowing we are taken care of, knowing that this journey is continuing for the collective, knowing we're going to a place that we're in that separation period. We're in that huge separation period. Old Earth, New Earth, as we talked before, right? And so being able to understand your own guidance and your own reality in that sense, and being able to be stable in that is a journey. And I am not sure we ever, become perfect at that, because I'm certainly not. I still have things where all of a sudden something will come up and I'll go, okay, wait a minute. What's my reality? What is my reality? Okay, what is my journey? What do I need to understand from this? Is this telling me? So that's always that self-reflection. So in April, we're going to have a couple things happening here. Not just a couple. So we're going to have I don't know if the right word is dichotomy or like a dual kind of thing going on, where we're going to see massive ability to create and things coming into our awareness where you might want to call it, I don't like the word manifest anymore because it's been overused, but for lack of anything better, creating what we desire is going to happen more quickly. Okay? It's happening more quickly. Those of us who have really, been out there doing this work. So what we're in is a frequency and vibration of new earth starting to show up, okay? But old earth is screaming, okay, for our attention, by the way. So as we start creating and doing our journey, and we're living a different life, we're starting to live a different life. But we also see, and this is the hard part, God, this is so hard, is you may see it in family members, friends, not just things that are happening to you, but being very aware of like, oh, this is what's going on in this relationship, or collectively, this is what's happening here, this is what's playing out here. And then you want to try to fix it because you are more aware. But you need to focus on yourself, and of course counsel, if it's an individual personal thing, potentially counsel, use your experience to assist others, right? But not in a way that is preachy, as you all know, that doesn't work, or talking above them and things they don't understand. So it's really nuanced in how we come into our true higher self as we live in this human body. Very nuanced, and it's happening. We are starting to, as we move forward in this journey, really kind of the melding of the higher self and the human. And you can start to feel that. It gets closer and closer the more you travel this journey. Now, we're all at different stages. So for some of you, that may be like, I don't even know what you're talking about, which is fine. Okay, you can come back to this some other point. But this is part of this process, is we become, the gap narrows from our human self and all of our, conditioning and our higher self. As we go through the spiritual awakening journey, this gap narrows. And here we are then. And we're able to flow more readily with the higher of ourselves, right? And when that happens, guess what? The universal flow of what wants to come to us and be offered to us is more available, okay? So we have a lot happening in April in the sense of it's like a colliding of energies, but the pillow that they showed me, it's real weird. It's like the massive energy is seeping into, this is how it's shown. This massive energy from March is seeping into, and of course we know what's going on cosmically, and all the flares, seeping into April. And April is this, it's not like an explosion. We're having that now within the next, I don't want to say few days, but when I say explosion, it's energy. What it looks like, I don't know. And it's spreading out in April. They just said from the cosmic awareness into cosmic awareness. Like we will all be aware. It'll be an individual knowing. And it's also a little bit of like a knowing of what now is coming for you. Because remember, all we can do is control our own journey. We control our own journey in that, well, I'll just say to a degree, right? But in that sense of like not trying to control everybody else's stuff. Doesn't mean you may not get involved in some way, but not the more work we do, and this is what I get, is this on this inner self, this inner own journey, the more light we're able to exude to others to assist them in their journey. And that's actually how we do assist them. That's how we assist others. That's how we assist the collective, as we've talked previously. But April's going to be a big month. Big month. I really feel like our separation. Oh, I just heard separation anxiety. That's interesting. So we may feel some level of separation anxiety, moving away further from the collective angst I just heard, and what's being presented out. And so you may feel that, but you're going to know what it means, because it's a pulling apart of, now we've talked about the pulling apart, old earth, new earth, for quite some time, and it looks like two cells dividing, right? And there's this little bridge. Well, that's been going on for quite some time, but the tension now is greater, and there is more of a pop, and more of like a bleed through of this energy in March into April, where what it's doing for us is helping us flow along with it, whereas with others, it's presenting out things that must be addressed. And we see this in our individual journey, but we're seeing it really big time in the collective. How that plays out, I don't know. But you, me, we're here to keep doing what we've been doing and understand that we're going to be in enhanced energies and understand that what I'm getting, and I don't know what this is going to look like for us. It doesn't mean we're not still going through our stuff, but this reprieve. They keep showing the geese. I'm just going to tell you, okay? That whole idea of that. The geese that are in the front, drifting to the back, and a new kind of leadership. Again, this is not the collective that I'm seeing with the geese. It's the lightworker community. Reinforcements I keep getting. And, kind of like, I don't want to call it the war, but the war is on. Like, the reinforcements are here for this next stage. Again, we will still be doing our work. Here's the thing. I said this the other day. Oh my God. I said, I just need one day where nothing happens. Like I have felt for some time, and many of you are going to feel like this. I just need a spa for a week where I don't have to do anything. They feed me beautiful food. They take care of me. I get to be out in nature, all that stuff. And I don't have to think about anything. Nothing happens. Nothing happens. But all this, something has been happening. And I'm sure many of you feel like that, right? And the minute I said that, I actually articulated that the other day, and she's fine, but I'm not kidding you. The same day, my mom got pneumonia, was in the hospital for a week. She's doing fabulously. But my point is all these things keep happening because we're unraveling. So just know that and lean into it and understand that as I see it, many of us, I'm not saying all of us, because again, it's a continuum, are getting a reprieve. I have no idea how that will look and manifest. But again, I just want you to understand the energy of April because it is fluid and it is moving and it's coming from March is all I'll say. So I think we're going to finish up here. Again, for those of you who don't know me and, well, actually for everyone, thank you so much for joining me today. I'm Carolyn Zaiser. I channel for individual clients. I channel for the collective. And I also offer spiritual awakening mentoring, one-on-one work that we do together to help you unravel your soul journey, understand past, present, and future, and assist you in this awakening journey moving forward so you can really have the opportunity to understand it better and grasp the beauty of it as well. So I offer one-on-one mentoring where we continuously unravel the story of your incarnation. And then thirdly, I offer energy healing as well. So you can work with me. I channel through all of these various services and help you understand your journey further, bits and pieces for you to take forward as you wish. So reach out to me at purplerainhealing.com if you'd like. And other than that, I think I'm just going to leave you today with this massive, as I see, looks very different than other months we've been in. Because remember, the takeaway here too, 25 and 26 are massive shift years. Massive. And we're actually in that, we're in that time, but we're in that prep time. We're, again, the bubble bursting kind of idea. So anyway, hopefully you've had 10,000 metaphors that you can take forward and apply this to your journey. Again, feel free to share your comments because honestly, as I've said before, there's so much that makes us feel lonely in this journey, but now we're starting to gain more of, I'll just say, people connecting with other people who are going through this journey and very aware. So it helps those of us coming along in the journey who might be newer at this process, sharing your own journey where you feel comfortable. So thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you in the next video.